So this looks like some kind of a museum here. But what's this trash doing in this museum? Why is Toxie in this exhibition? Why the Toxic Avenger?
It's one of my favorite films.
That's the only reason. It's very selfish.
Yeah, sure it is. Yeah.
But does it have anything to do with the theme of
heroes and villains, Toxic Avengers, the big hero of Tromaville. So.
Well, let's see now. The moment has come for the screening of the Toxic Avenger. Joe's here. Joe, how long have you worked at this fine museum?
I've been here for 17 years.
Wow. When did it open?
1982.
Oh, wow. Go way back. Well, Joe's approved of the Toxic Avenger screening, so I'm going to go see if anybody showed up. Oh, lots of ugly men have shown up. Although one beautiful man, but oh, look at Toxie's having an Andy Warhol. It's just like the factory. Oh my gosh. It's like Candy Darling. It looks like, oh, look at it. We're rocking out here. This is incredible. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing? All righty. What do you got there, lady?
Oh, I have this wonderful program. I like programs.
Wow, that's beautiful.
It's like an agenda.
It looks like a Toxic Warhol kind of thing.
Yeah.
Wow. Incredible. Thank you very much. We have some one glamorous celebrities in the audience. We have the New York State Film Commissioner right here to make everything official. The New York State Film Commissioner. Thank you so much for coming to see the 35mm print of the Toxic Avenger. If you read the program that the little brochure, Warhol indeed influenced Troma movies. Although he made underground movies that people actually showed up for, and I've been doing it for 40 years, and thank you for showing up. But we've never had a movie in Blockbuster or whatever. We're sort of at the opposite end of Warhol. And but if you read that brochure, you'll see indeed he did influence our movies. The Toxic Avenger is a fairly historic movie. I think it's the first film in which a young boy's head was squashed by the wheel of an automobile that was later made into a children's environmentally correct Saturday morning cartoon show. So that's very significant. The print we're going to see is a 95-minute, I believe it's about 95 minutes. If I'm not mistaken, this is the Japanese version, which means that all of you must speak fluent Japanese. It was in Japan when we made the Toxic Avenger. We had to deliver a 95-minute version, or they wouldn't buy it. So this is the only 35mm print we have that's playable. The labs that we used have all been put out of business. There's only 1 or 2 labs in New York, so we would have to retime all the negatives and redo everything in order to get a print. So this is our one playable print, but it has special footage that only a small number of people have ever seen. And so you will see some weird, there's a montage that is very Warhol-esque actually in this film. That is the reason that is the print that we sent to Japan, and then eventually they made their own negative and dubbed it and all that stuff. Yeah, we can talk about it in the Q&A. Anyway, thank you to the Warhol Museum, and thank you so much for coming to see the Toxic Avenger and supporting independent art. It's really appreciated. And thank you, Toxie, and beautiful Blackheart Guy Knows. We don't say girl, as you know. We say Guy Knows. Girl is really incorrect. So thank you.
Following was very, very small, would you still make horror films, independent horror films, even
Well,
if you made no money?
You've asked if I make no money, would I still make horror films? I don't really make horror films. I mean, the movies we make are not, I don't think anybody got scared by Toxic Avenger. Our stuff is more satire, and it mixes the genres. Tarantino and Peter Jackson, they like our stuff because we blended in slapstick comedy with the gore and kind of Grand Guignol. Sort of, we took Monty Python. Monty Python clearly influenced us. There's no question about that. fact, the head crushing is just an extension of Holy Grail, the fight where the arms get cut off.
I'm sorry, I take that question back. Would you make any films if you didn't make any money? Would you still do it for the love of the art?
Well, I think we haven't made any money, really. Somehow we stagger along. It's like the bumblebee. The bumblebee technically cannot fly. It's too heavy, and the mechanics, the physics of it doesn't work on paper, but yet somehow it flies. Trauma is the fucked up bumblebee of the film industry. The biggest hurdle, as I mentioned, is that the media has become so vertically integrated and so under the thumb of a small number of international media conglomerates that it is virtually impossible to penetrate the mainstream hymen. And when you do, you're going to get fucked. We've basically stayed in the underground and just done our stuff, and as Woody Allen says, success is 88% just showing up. Of course, he's fucking his daughter, I think.
One thing that I can really relate to with the Truman movies is that they really take the piss out on American culture. Has that been like difficult on Truman, like with regards to distribution and stuff like that? And has it been worth it?
Gentleman mentions that we satirize American culture, but it's fine. Yes, we do satirize America, and that's why we chose Tromaville. We have a little town called Tromaville, and it's in New Jersey. But that also fits in with the fact that we tend to the underdog is a big theme of our movies, and New Jersey is the underdog, living in the shadow of the arrogant giant Gotham City there, and we.
Pittsburgh's the new Gotham, though.
What's that?
We're the new Gotham.
That's right. You guys are fantastic. That's right. You've got
About the
Batman
underdog.
right here. You are Batman. Pittsburgh's Batman shooting here, right? So I think the problem is the cartel that runs the media. It's not about. We could have Gone with the Wind. I mean, Cannibal the Musical is a perfect example. Citizen Toxic. The first Toxic Avenger played on all over TV. You probably saw it on USA Up All Night. The fourth Toxic Avenger, the best one, Citizen Toxic, has never been on American television. It's never been on. It's ridiculous. Sold as many, probably sold more DVDs and video cassettes than Cannibal the Musical, yet totally blacklisted from any, and it's purely with no advertising. It's never been on television. Ridiculous. If you're going to be an artist, you have to make a decision. Van Gogh never sold, he sold one painting in his life, and I think it was to his brother. And he cut his ear off and killed himself, and it still didn't work. And but now, who's the most valuable, other than Warhol maybe? Who are the most valuable artists? Van Gogh is probably the most valuable artist in the history of man and woman and neuter kind.
But did you have the personal interaction with Andy Warhol in his factory, which was, an open forum for all kinds of art?
I was at Yale, and I would come down to New York. He asked if I had any definite interpersonal action. Certainly none with Andy Warhol, other than visual. There was a restaurant, Max's Kansas City, and I hung out there a bit.
Oh, did you?
And he was in there, but I certainly never said anything to him, and nor he to I. But we did use some of the Warhol people, and certainly his films and his Brechtian style and his breaking the fourth wall, and Lonesome Cowboys blew my mind, and he was, his breaking the fourth wall, I think, is a big, brave movie thing, and not too many people do it, and I liked it a lot. I like to be interactive with the audience, so I think that's one of the reasons we're still around, is that we've been so interactive with our fans and with the audiences, and in the movies themselves. Most of our films, somebody will talk to the audience, go through the fourth wall.
So it's the next day, and the museum's still here. The triumphant Toxic event, heroes and villains. Did we learn anything last night, Jesse Kowalski? Any lessons or any wisdom that came out of the event?
Well, we learned a little bit more about Joe Flyshaker. I always had burning questions about him, so it's good to find out about his personal life.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
When is the next Troma event at the Andy Warhol Museum? The next Troma event?
As soon as possible, I hope.
Thanks, Jesse. Goodbye. Thank you. Thank you, Jesse.